say that I agree with you that as a general practice, but Brazil is a big country, it's very expensive, and this is the only one. So if you have one or two in the next year, I don't think that will disturb the concept of it.
I wanted to say something in regard to that too, though, like, you know, so we do them in San Francisco and in the Bay Area at Berkeley and at Stanford, and we get totally different audiences at all the different ones because they're completely different communities. Right. At those, even in the Bay Area, those 3 different spaces are really different. But also what's happened over the years, because it was Piero who started them, that we've been doing them for 10 years in San Francisco, and it's the concept has expanded. It used to be, you know, people had to do art sci somehow. Right. That was the very initial thing. It had to be people who were really doing art sci, but then you drain that very quickly. Even in San Francisco, there's not that many people doing art sci in a really formal sense, and so you have to reach outside that, and you have to expand your definition. And it's great for people just to hear people speak about their stuff, whatever it is. So it can be a scientist. It fosters collaboration, and people come and talk about their thing. It can't be, you know, so far out there, but you know, we just have like pure scientists or pure artists, whatever that might be, of some sort.
But this is where the thematic, even if it's very loose, actually helps. In my opinion, because if it's very broad and you just say biology, biotechnology, whatever, just keep it in that realm. Right. And you invite scientists and artists who are just doing that. They may just merge, and they have. That's true. They have done here a number of times. Microbiome. Kathy High came, she was there, so she hooked up with actually a scientist from USC who happened to come to Laser because he was attracted to what she was doing, and now they're doing a big show together. Right. But it was because of the thematic. Right. No, I agree. We don't have a theme because Piero is extremely wedded to no theme. But I personally don't object. I have to say it's really loose, and if somebody happens to be in town, we'll throw them in regardless. And honestly, for those of you who have no theme, a theme always emerges. I mean, it's just how it is. It's like people are looking for. That's what I'm saying. And we go back and forth. I mean, if there's an obvious theme, we throw it. We connect it for people. But if there isn't, the conversations are so generative that we really want them to be have that emergent quality and that generative quality. It's very exciting to see when these things emerge. I think Jill was
we do social sciences too.
Oh, yeah, we do too. We do social science. So you can. All I'm trying to say is you don't have to feel. It sounded when you were speaking like you felt constrained by it has to be art science people, and maybe I misunderstood what you said.
No, but yes, but I feel like sort of anxious because I like.
Yeah, you won't get very far if you
doctor
keep it
speaking
back.
like about surgeries, surgery with robots, but he was speaking for half an hour. I was.
Oh yeah, well you gotta be a timekeeper. We have all sorts of things.
Gone.
Gone works.
Or just put the slides on the
roll.
All right.
Jill want to say something?
Is there some more comments?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that, like, one thing that we notice is that people, if you take with themes, you can take people from social science, you know, you can take people from, say, industry. There's no reason why I think we can't think broadly about these arts and sciences in a broader way. And I think that makes for an interesting discussion if we actually even open it up a little bit more to just transdisciplinary potentials, you know. It makes a big difference. So in our area, for example, we had, say, somebody who's doing smart home technology as a startup, talking with 3 artists who are actually working with community DIY projects. And then we had a social scientist talking about that with them. So it could be quite broad like that, I think. Or we had one thing where we had a farmer who was really interested in organic farming, talking with a scientist and an artist about like what redesigning nature. You know? You can, I think you could broaden it out like that. It's interesting.
To no science at all, I think, of some sort. I mean, there should be some. Yeah. It's not just a community meeting, but I mean, of you know, academics and
also
thinkers,
it's not only technology.
Right.
I think that Victoria and I have had conversations about that.
Right.
Everything is technology.
Well, everything is, but
yeah.
Well, there's science and technology.
Exactly, there's
right.
science and technology, but some of the presentations we've had have been very focused really just on the technology end of it. So I don't know where people are sort of, if anybody wants to comment on that spectrum as well, or I feel like it's really much more open today than it even was in 2009 when we were inviting people in.
Yeah. I agree.
I was also going to say that Victoria has, the zeitgeist of hers is always collaboration.
Yes.
She repeats it over and over again. She's always encouraging the speakers, especially when they're short ones, that's what this is about. So it's always in people's minds. So it's not it's built into yours. Which, you know, when you have a panel, it doesn't necessarily encourage that because you don't have enough different things to. And then with Victoria, by having a lot of people speak, they bring an audience. So if they bring 2 or 3 people, then you have.
That's true.
Then everyone, those people are probably associated somewhere with each of those people. So that's, I think, somewhat unique of some of the others.
And one thing that we've noticed is if you bring in like a performing arts type person every once in a while, it really activates the room. We had Wycliffe Gordon. He's probably the leading jazz trombonist in the world. He came in and he played the trumpet, and then we had someone who worked with autistic kids with dance techniques, with music therapy, and then we had a digital guy that came in from the science side. But it was really interesting because he was able to like tighten the room and really engage people, and it became a really emotional experience. You know, in the beginning, I was just visual arts. That's all I was really thinking because I'm a painter, you know. And then when I started getting out into music and performance and stuff like that, I think we got better.
Yeah, we once had a local bartender come and like talk to us about how to infuse drinks with things, and we had a biochemist kind of talk about the chemistry behind it.
And after the evening ended,
it was a huge success because people wanted to know what's in my drink.
Can I have another one? I want to try out now.
couldn't tell the differences are the two sides.
And it was physicists talking and from the drama lab of the University Performance Arts.
Talking about energy. Yeah.
It was working brilliant. Yeah.
But just a comment to Jill. I'm kind of sad that some of those talks are not documented. For instance, the one you just mentioned with the farmer and the biotech and DIY.
I have
some way where you can, you know, share that with the rest of the world. I've been in the cafe. It's wonderful. I love it. But I also feel like it ends up being for a very small group of people.
I have all the PowerPoint presentations as an archive. So I keep all the presentations I actually keep as an archive. So I have like a way to, hopefully, what my idea would be to publish somehow this material into a book. So I tell them that I'm going to actually make a book in the end, and that I need to keep the material as an archive. And then when we come to make the book, then I can actually sort of draw on that material to say, well, you know, this is what you both talked about. Can you actually co-write something for the book? So this is in fact
that won't,
We won't pay you.
not an immediate satisfaction.
You could put them on our TEDx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in our techno-
Yeah, Caitlin.
Can I ask a question? Just, it seems like the idea of wanting to archive and share these is so important to everybody, but everybody also acknowledges that speakers tend to freeze up in front of cameras, and it just kind of changes the temperament of the conversation. I'm curious if you've ever explored the idea of just recording the audio and then uploading them to something like a later podcast, where people can download each episode or share just the audio files, and that way it's not quite as invasive. It's something that we briefly talked about, but we tend to live stream all of our talks, so the cameras are very, very tiny, and
Yeah,
people
but the PowerPoint, they have a PowerPoint, then that's the problem.
Yeah. And if the talks are visual enough,
Yeah.
the audio is going to automatically, I mean,
Visuals are
it's,
so.
it's so important. If you lose the visual,
Yeah.
if you can afford to lose the visual, it's almost like the speaker didn't do their job by bringing the visual in my feeling. Because I do want them to have a visual that has to be there.
Sure.
It would take the pressure off, but yeah.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah, really briefly. Later today, we'll talk about our Arteca, which does have the ability to capture whatever you want, like a slideshow, audio, or video. You know, we'll address this topic of documentation a little bit deeper then, but we'll address that today.
Yeah, so that reminds me of what Jill's saying, though. I mean, if she has all the PowerPoints and people give permissions, we could put those onto our tech. So there's a place for them to be that's broader than your immediate audience and broader than all of ours immediate audience. So we're trying to build that up at Leonardo. So. Okay. Any other questions or comments that people want to make before we take a bit of a break?
This was really useful, I thought. I love hearing the kind of case study part. You know, we tried this, we tried this. I really love hearing about what people are doing and the kind of combinations.
I'd also like to just hearing all your stories and also how much time and effort you put into doing them, just to thank you for that time and effort. I don't know how often you get thanked for that, but it means, I think, a lot to the world, a lot to Leonardo, a lot to your communities. So all of those things, I think, are really important, and you need to be acknowledged for that, because it's a lot of work for not a lot of
Anything.
in your pocket.
Two glasses of cheap.
There you go. And coffee. Okay, so thanks to all of you, of course, and hopefully we'll say that more through this day and a half. And we're going to take a little break and have some lunch.